So I'm Joshua Lawrence, builder here in Houston, Texas. From Louisiana. I've been building homes for 6 years now, and we build from the ground up. Try to do that in 90 days.
I'm Tony Bryant, Tony B for Profit on all social media platforms. I am actually an investor and entrepreneur. I've been investing since early 2000s, specifically in real estate since 2003.
So how did you guys start working together?
Yeah, so I mainly focus on new construction. I don't do any renovations, and Chris Senegal, he reached out to me, him and Tony. He had a project that he wanted me to take a look at it and see if I can finish out for him. At first, I was hesitant about taking it on because just coming after somebody I knew already that it was going to be issues. But getting that reference from Chris and just wanting to help someone that was in a tough spot, I took it on, and that's how we met.
Yeah, so tell us about the project, Tony. What was it y'all working on and kind of what was going on?
So as I mentioned, I'm an investor, and I've lent to several different builders. And in this case, it was one specific builder. And I believe, looking back at the situation, his intents weren't upfront and weren't ethical from the beginning. So basically, he sold me on a project that already had plotted, already had permits. It was basically turnkey and ready to go, shovel ready. In this situation, he just kept asking me for more and more money, but yet he wasn't getting the job done. And he by the time Josh came in, I think the first unit was like 80% complete.
Yeah, it was
80%.
Yeah, it was no reason to be taking more than 3 or 4 weeks to finish it out.
3-4 weeks. Now initially this was supposed to be a 6-month project. By the time Josh got there, it was 2 years in. So yeah, a good friend of mine, Chris Senegal, I reached out to him, and I guess you build his townhouses, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, he recommended Josh, and then Josh came over, told him the situation I was in, told him how much money I was spending, and he agreed to help me out. Like he said, he normally doesn't take over projects, but this situation, he helped me out, and I learned a lot from it. Yeah.
So Josh, talk about what state was the project in? I know y'all were saying it was close 3 to 4 weeks out from being done. Kind of what were some of the things that you had to come in and change in the project or to keep it moving?
Yeah, so it's a total of 3 houses. Like we said, that first house, that's the one we wanted to focus on first because he was able to get contracts on it, wasn't able to close. So we focused on that first house. So we got it finished, getting all our final inspections. And that final inspection part, it can be tough with the city. They having different requirements. But we was able to get that one finished, and then after that's when we started working on the last 2. They was at the black end stage. Black end being having your roof, windows, and doors in. So I was able to come in. It was a shell basically, and I finished all the mechanicals, and I just picked up my process from there, getting it all closed in and putting all our finishes in.
Talk about your process a little bit. What are some of the things that you do when you're working on a project?
Yeah, so my process is, my guys, they know, sometimes they work on top of each other. They know when to call their inspections in. Everything should only take 2 days, 3 days max on finishing certain phases of the project. So if those guys are taking longer than that, I get them off the project and I just get someone else to come in because I want to stay on schedule. I want to finish it in a timely manner. And far as cost-wise, they already know what I'm gonna pay. So if they're gonna charge me more than that, I prefer to just get someone else because they're going over budget at that point.
Tony, talk about things that you would wish you could have done differently in terms of vetting this guy that you're working with.
So I believe initially for me vetting someone or just making the decision to invest, I think I've done everything that I could to a degree. What I'm saying is he had the history of developing properties from my viewing. He had active projects, and I had spoken to a few folks about them, and they didn't have anything bad to say about him. The project was turnkey. Like I said, it was supposed to have been 6 months. He already had the lots plotted and everything was pretty much ready to go. So it was an easy, upfront, sweet deal, right? Supposedly. But then we get into the project, and then 4 days later, we found out that he closed on another loan on the property. So you can tell at that point, he was either in financial situation. He closed on 2 loans 4 days from each other. And I guess he led the other folks to believe that he was purchasing the lot with their money, but he purchased the lot with my money. I don't really know if you can vet them a lot more than that, other than just really go to their active projects. And I think I mentioned earlier that he has a certain office location but he doesn't have an office. But I thought he did. It doesn't matter if you have an office, but if you present that you have an office and you have staff in your office and so forth, and then there's no office that exists, then that's an issue. But I guess I could have done a little bit more in-depth research, but I thought I had my bases covered.
Yeah, Josh, can you talk about some things that you would recommend to somebody? You're an investor and you're working with a builder. What are some things you need to do to vet the person or make sure you're checking all your boxes?
Yeah, so 90% of the time I'm only working with people that was referred from someone I know that's working with them currently or worked with them in the past. It's very seldom that I just find someone at Home Depot, Lowe's, and start working with them. I normally don't work like that. It's gonna be somebody that's worked with someone before and they can tell me what happened or what reasons they work with them or don't work with them. My first question is how long it's gonna take. If they give me a time frame that I'm not used to working with, then that's number one, I cut them out. Then after that, I'm asking them about price. So if the price is too low, I'm skeptical about working with them, and if it's too high, that's out of my budget. So I want to be right in between on time, cost, and then after that, just working off a referral. What projects are you currently doing, and can I go take a look at them? Let's go walk them and see if it works for me. Like right now, I have AC guys that I'm looking at, and with me just looking at their rough-in work, I know if I want to go with them or not. So knowing what things to look for and their current projects, and if they're a good fit. Because there's different types of subs. There's renovation guys that they love doing renovations, then there's new construction. The new construction guys, they normally don't like doing a renovation project. So it's a different type of guys that work for you, renovation and new construction.
Just be involved in your project, because I could have stopped it a while ago and said, oh, the first or second time actually, where he said, oh, I needed more money, then I could have just taken over the project altogether. And this was a long time ago. He had come to me several times and I felt handcuffed, right? I felt handcuffed because I had so much money in it and I couldn't just lose that money. And I didn't have the time just to go and build the project and take over. And he made all these promises, but come to find out, he did it to several folks and he had liens against the property additionally. And then when Josh took over, what did it cost? How much more did we have to spend on the other 2 years? Like another 200 grand a piece?
Yeah, to get them finished out, because some things wasn't done the way I would do them. So
Right.
we had to go back and fix those things and just finishing out the money he had already taken from the project.
Yeah, so he taking money and he spent it on he put it into his ecosystem. So he had done things like that, completely unethical, but again, I lost money on the deal.
Yeah, and when doing these things, you got to do a draw through the bank. So you'll send them.
Oh, that's another thing.
Yeah, you'll send pictures, or the inspector, they'll come out and look at the project and see what phase, so they can give you that money. So he was doing a bare minimum, take a picture, send it to him, and it was like, oh, it's complete. But you can actually go into your permitting, your city of Houston, and see if that certain phase passed that inspections. And some lenders will do that. They'll see if it passed inspection before they lend the money.
Yeah, so just adding on. Yeah, so be aware, because some contractors are so good, they'll take pictures to make it look like the job's complete. Even some of them, he probably did. I don't know if he went as far as taking a picture of another project to make it look like it was
took
done.
pictures of the appliances, then took them out.
Tony, what were some of the things that Josh and his team that stood out to you about their process and how they built the project?
Josh is thorough at what he does. I've seen Josh, he's at the site every day. He's in tune with his subs, so he knows whether they're doing quality work or not. And that's definitely what you want. You want someone that's there every single day. In Quentin's case, obviously, he wasn't actively working on the project. And he drives a car also. So
How are you going to get
he
materials?
drives a truck, so he's going to bring material. So he's relying on other folks to do a lot of different things. But as far as Josh, like I said, you can obviously see the quality of his work. I've been to one of Josh's projects prior. He has a home around the corner from that particular project. And just the quality of work, how thorough he is in communicating with me, but then also his subs. And then he's definitely adamant about his schedule. So if you can vet all that, and then a good referral source, obviously, if he comes to me from a good referral source, a good friend of mine, then obviously, and I've seen Chris's townhouses, then definitely believe that he can do the job, obviously. But yeah, on the biggest mistake was obviously also paying for the giving so much money up front.
Gotcha. All right. Last question, what are the different ways somebody can get involved in new construction? I think, Tony, your scenario is unique in terms of you weren't actually the builder. That's something you would recommend people do, like maybe they don't want to do all the work of being at the site every day. Would you recommend them invest money into another builder?
Absolutely. Even if I would always definitely, first of all, do your homework, do your research, vet the builder. If you can get a mentor or take a course, understand somewhat of the process. If you're just having a home built, it would save you probably thousands in monies that you don't lose other places, right? If you're interested in getting into this game, definitely get someone who's done over 10 homes. I think you did 18, whatever, you focus on 20, he'll probably do 40 homes this year or whatever. So focus on someone who's doing a high volume, and he's getting all kind of crazy referrals because of the quality of work, because of the person that he is. But definitely get a mentor, get a course, or make sure that you understand something about the project process.
My way is finding someone that's willing to help you along the route. And when I first started, I was trying to figure everything out myself. And I was going to, every day when I got off from work, I would go and try to learn each phase. But on my very first one, I ended up paying someone to, hey, show me how. Once we actually got started, they didn't want to show me how, but I just went to that job site every day just to learn, and I wrote everything down. And I can still pick up that same book today and go back and figure out how to build. So this is what I'm doing right now. Everything I put in that book, everything I just learned along the way, I'm trying to put all that together so I can show you guys how to do what I'm doing currently. Because when I was trying to learn, they would say no. Their dad showed them. They don't show people how to do it. I'm giving the information, and if you want it, you can take it, use it how you want.